Hello, I am Jaron Morning, the Youth Service Center Coordinator at Bluegrass Middle School. We are having our first family night for this year. We've invited our parents and their kiddos here, and we're just telling the families about how we, do school here at Bluegrass. Miss Finley, our library media specialist, is going over our digital toolbox, all the different things that we use digitally with our students and how we engage with our families using that digital work. Our counselors and one of our Healthy Kids Clinic therapists, they're talking about just real talk, talking about how bullying might affect a child and what we do to, work against bullying in our school and just how we deal with our kids on a social and emotional level. Our assistant principals, Neil Gibbs and Jacinta Pleasant, have a session and they're talking to our family about just highlights from our handbook, some of our high flyer activities that really we want to stress to parents and that we have to deal with daily with our students, like dress code and those kind of things. We've split, so we have probably 15 to 20 teacher volunteers that are running games with the kids. So we're just doing some team building, and I'm glad that our students are getting to see our teachers in less of an instructional light and getting to see their personalities. It's already been a lot of fun, and we're just excited.
Hi, I'm Ashley Fry. I'm one of the guidance counselors here at Bluegrass Middle School. Today we're hosting a family night to talk to our families about different things that come up in a school day. Right now we're having real talk with our parents, and that includes the hot topics such as bullying and harassment, social media, self-harm and suicide, relationships and friendships. And we're discussing these topics because these are the things that we see that kids are dealing with every single day. And so we're wanting to include parents on this conversation, get their input, and kind of just share some things that their kids may be facing that they're not talking about at home.
Hi, my name is Mallory Akers. I'm a teacher here at Bluegrass Middle School. We're playing some relay races with shoes today during our Bulldog Family Night.
And what's the object of the game?
The object of this game is for everybody in your team to be able to kick off and flip one shoe onto the table. First team that gets it wins.
And in here we are working on kind of some team building with our students and giving them a chance to just kind of have some authentic fun with just your normal everyday objects. So they are doing kind of a race here where they all start out with holding a broom, and when we say go, they have to let go and try to run to the next broom and grab it before it drops to the ground. And we kind of do it tournament style so that we get down to one final winner. So they have a lot of fun with it, and it gives them a chance to kind of take a break from the screens and have some good fun with each other.
Oh, got it. All right, team 2, next person go. Hey, go for that approach. Go for that approach. Our approach is handle, huh? All right, Micah. You got it?
Whoa! Hey, it landed. I see that counts. I think that's good.
Micah's like, let's go. Bank shot, baby. All right. Oh, easy. Go. Good job. This is the last person for you guys? How many tries are they doing for the next person? I don't know. You want to try, then you have to. You got it. Oh. Who's gonna hit us? Yeah, got it. Hey, one of y'all go against one of y'all's players left. Yeah, you go, because you're good at it. She said you're good. Whoa. Got it. Go. Come on, Akers.
I think we're switching.
First thing I want to show you was our school website. If you have not been there, we try to put a lot of information there. There are things that I need to update. I am the one who updates it, and I know that there are a few things that are not updated. For instance, I didn't have the full athletic schedule, so that's not all the way updated just yet. So we'll try to get that there. There may be a few other things in there, but as I have time, I try to go back and do that. On here, we do have news and announcements and such down through there, but the main things I wanted you to notice is there is a section for students and one for parents. So if your student is needing information on the athletics, that will be there. It is there now, but it will be updated with information on the coaches and the schedules. Breakfast, lunch, they're wanting to know what there is to eat. Our clubs and organizations were just updated, and our students were choosing those this week, so we'll update that as we have that ready. They're needing to know how to log in to Google or to their computer from home if they've forgotten what the format is for logging in. One of the big things I want to show you is the counselor's corner, because sometimes our kids don't want to let the teacher know that, or let other students see that they need to see the counselor or see Mr. Morning, our Youth Service Center coordinator. So under BGMS students, there is the counselor's corner, and there is a link right here they can request to see the counselor or see Mr. Morning without having to tell anyone. They would just go on there and fill that out, and they can do that anytime, you know, whether they're at school, home, and have access to this website. If you don't know Mr. Morning yet, Jaron Morning is our Youth Service Center coordinator, and he's able to help the students. He can help you all if you have things that you're needing for your home or for your students. He's a great person to reach out to. He does have his own information as well right here. If you're needing to contact him, you can click on that. If your student needs to contact him, it's usually here. He is also the person that if your student comes to school and their shorts are up to here, and you can't bring them clothes, he can get them some clothes usually, as long as he has the sizes. So that is kind of, he tries to help as much as he can. He does a wonderful, wonderful job. If your student has questions about how do I get into Infinite Campus, they can go there. If they are needing, or you are needing, either one, to know what does it say in our student handbook. Big ones are dress code. What does it say in there? Phones. Okay, having cell phones out. It's been much better this year. We've been trying to make sure students understand when they're supposed to be out, when they're supposed to be put away. But anytime you want to know what does our policy say, if you're questioning it, please look there. Right? And then if you have a question, contact our school. So that's some of that information there. For parents, we also try to put a lot of things here for you to be able to get to. And then we do have on here Echo, and we'll talk about that in just a second, and how to navigate Echo. There's a little bit there. Infinite Campus is something that I recommend that every single parent has. That is where your students' grades will be. Those are the final grades that they put in. So even if they put in grades in Echo or Google Classroom, those grades that count are going to be in Infinite Campus. So that's where I would be looking. If you do not have your own account, you can get one. And there is under BGMS Parents, right here where it says Infinite Campus Parent Portal, that's where you go to Infinite Campus. But you can request access by clicking there and filling out that form. And Ms. Covell in our front office will get with you and get your login information to you. And that way you can keep up with it yourself. There's other things down here as well. If you're interested in any of that information, like I said, I try to update as we go. Our Chromebook initiative last year, we went as a whole district 1-to-1 for students. So with that, as educators, we want to make sure families knew what are things we see that we want to make sure you're aware of. Sometimes as parents, especially as your kids are getting to the middle school age, there are things that they are starting to notice more, things they're starting to want to look for more, and some concerns. As they get a little more freedom, we want to try to make sure you are aware of some of the things that we see, and we try to give information about, like, as far as referrals, how many students are getting referrals for certain things in our school, and I'll update that each time. So we do require a parent does complete some digital citizenship training as well, but that information is on here, and that was down here under the online training, if you were looking for that at some point. And then we'll try to send out more information as well. Echo is one of our platforms that we use mostly with 6th and 7th grade. It is very similar to Google Classroom as far as it's just delivering the content to the students and they can turn things in and interact. We started that last year with our 6th grade, this year 7th grade, as we're doing more project-based learning, problem-based learning. It makes it easier because on Echo, all their classes will be here. Lose my voice, excuse me. But they can get all of the information in one place. Whereas on Google Classroom, all their classes are there, but they have to click on each individual class to go in there and see what's happening. Their teachers also can see everything from here versus having to join those classes for each teacher. It's kind of a better way for them to collaborate and see what everybody's doing throughout 6th grade or 7th grade. 8th grade, some teachers are using it this year. Some have not started using this program just yet. All of your students should have a login to Echo. And as of today, you should also have an active login for Echo. But if you try to go in there and you can't get in there, then I can help you with that as well. On the student app, they can come over here and see if there's any grades put in here, but once again, Infinite Campus is your go-to place for final grades. Calendar, see all their classes and everything. For you all to log in, I pulled information from Infinite Campus, so if there was something not correct in there, you may not be able to get in, and you just need to let me know. I am Margie Finley, and you can email me or call the school and talk to me. But your login for Echo to see what your student's doing, and I have copies if anybody wants it. It's also was on the website, but it's your first name dot last name, and then it's lowercase password, and then the number 1. So that way you could see what all they were doing. Okay, if Google Classroom, if your child's using Google Classroom, you can also get access to that. It looks different. For Echo, you're going to see a lot of what your student sees. Google Classroom, they give you updates, kind of, oh, well, here's the assignments, kind of like a summary. But that with Google Classroom, we have to put in your email address. So it may be something that you may need to contact the teacher if you cannot see things with Google Classroom, what the updates of what your student's doing. Because it has to be done a little bit different. They can't just pull a report and put them in like I can Echo. Access to things. When your child logs into their Chromebook with their school account, they should be able to go to Google Chrome and have access to the Waffle. That should have these apps already there for students. This is my account, so it's under staff, so there may be some there that I have that they don't. But they're going to have access to Gmail if you gave them permission to have access to Gmail. Okay? With Gmail, they cannot receive outside emails from outside of Hardin County. So if you're trying to send your child an email from your personal account and they're not getting it, it's because we do not allow access to their personal or to their school account from a personal account. It has to be a Hardin County Schools account. If you want your child to have access to Gmail to get updates from their Google Classroom or Echo or any of that, or get emails from their teachers or be able to use it, then if they do not have access, then you need to contact me. You all filled out a green card at the beginning of the school year. You could have done this at Infinite Campus. There's also a green card that said, oh, can they do surveys? Can they have a picture taken? Can they have access to internet, email, those things. So that's where, whether they have access to this or not, that comes from either you filled it out on Infinite Campus or that card. Google Drive, Classroom, Sheets, all of that is there that they can just click on and access. If they go down, they've also added Echo on here, so they don't have to go, they can go to their school website and click Students and click on it there. Or they can just click the waffle and go to Echo that way. Trying to make it easier for them to access it. Library Media Center. There was tons of stuff packed on here as well. I try to update with announcements and such as we get them, as we're starting the school year. Next couple weeks, this stuff will be updated. We will do a book challenge again this year for kids to earn dog dollars for the dog store. We will are planning to have a book fair later on, and so some of those things will be there. Student resources. If your child likes to read ebooks, if they want to know what we have in our library, if they want to look up any of those things, there are links here. Sora is digital books. They can you can have them connect to the Hardin County Public Library and through that. and so access some of those things. We had Mac and Via, but now that we're using Sora, I'm not using Mac and Via as much, and it's also digital books. Most of our kids like that book in their hand. I appreciate that. I do too. So, but we do have those available. Some things on here that they can get to are some playlists of audiobooks that we've added. Team Book Cloud is also an ebook database. If your student has never used Kentucky Virtual Library, as they get through with when they're doing middle school, high school, especially, I know John Harden uses Kentucky Virtual Library quite a bit. Team Book Cloud is there. There are magazines. I have some of those linked here that they might be interested in. They want to recommend a book for us to have in the library. Kentucky Virtual Library, they log in with their Google account. And that was also available over here on this waffle if they slid down through there for them to click on. Some things on here, if you don't want them searching Google and using Wikipedia or just whatever Google tells them, and you want some good, true resources that have research in them, then some of these are good resources when they're looking up things. If they're trying to prepare for careers, looking up information for that on here as well. I like the opposing viewpoints, so they can see different sides and kind of give them an idea of what does the other side say about something if they're working on something. So several things down through here they can do. And if you're like, oh, I would need to get in there for my class I'm taking, or I would like us to do this together, just ask your student to log into it, and you all can do it together. So, but there's several things there. I was going to try to pull up Class Dojo up here, but I have my password saved, and it does not want to come up on here, so I don't know what it is. But if you need access to see Class Dojo or something, we can get that for you as well. The students receive Dojo points for our core values, respect, responsibility, and safety. And so we're looking for those things to give them points. Those points turn into dog dollars to use at the dog store for different things. If they like to go to the bathroom a lot and they run out of bathroom passes, they may be able to buy that at the dog store. So some of those things, that's also available.
So PBIS is Positive Behavior Intervention System. So what we try to do is reward your child on positive behavior. So our 3 core values play a part in that: respect, responsibility, and safety. So those are the 3 areas that they can earn points in our PBIS system. So, for example, if they're in the classroom, they turn their work in on time, that's being responsible, point. If they're keeping their hands and feet to themselves, they're not bothering other people, they're being safe, point. All right, so positive behavior. So your child can earn 3 points per period for 6 classes. So that's what, 18 a day times 5 a week. I'm not going to do the math on camera because I don't want anybody to say I can't multiply and all that. So they have all of those points at the end, and each month you have a bank. So potentially you can have, what, 9 times 4, 360 points at the end of the month that they can shop. So we have a dog store of items, and I'm just saying items right now because I haven't sent a Google form out to see what kind of things they want, that they can purchase. It could be like a pizza party, ice cream party, Kona ice, we have bulldog swag, it can be different things. And they're valued at different points. So depending on how much money they have, depends on how much they can get. And so they put their little order in, we bag it up, and we deliver it to them. And so it's all on positive behavior. So if a kid is in class and they do not do or they don't turn their work in, that's not being responsible. So they just won't earn the point. Nothing is taken away from them. So we're trying to really build that up in them, that you're rewarded for your positive behavior. At the end of the quarter, we have a big celebration. We do the bouncy houses. We have the Kona ice come out to celebrate all of these behaviors, this positive behavior that they have displayed, in that window of time. So with that PBIS, we use a platform called Class Dojo. So the student has access to that, the teacher has access to that, and you all can have access to that. So in Class Dojo, you will be able to see your child earn points. Now, since I kind of oversee Dojo, mine's up all day, so I hear this ding, 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 because teachers are giving points all day long. So
once you get the QR code, when you set it up for notifications or anything like that, if you don't want to be notified, don't hit that because it will ding all day. But you can see what your child is getting points for. And you can kind of keep up with that and have conversations with them, you know. Great job today, you earned all your points all day long. Or, hey, I know you should have had 18 points today, you only got 15. Like, you know, where did you not gain your points? Because we don't want to say, where did you lose? Because they didn't lose it. They just didn't earn it. So, and kind of have those conversations. You can also talk to your teachers through that platform as well. They have access to that. So that's what we use to kind of monitor that.
Positive.
Trying to stay positive. We're really trying to build a positive community so that they are happy to be here.
Right.
And encourage each other. We will be having some other incentives that they will be sharing with you all to help with that as well.
I want to talk to you all about the issues your kid or their friends may be facing on at any given time during the school year that they may not come home and talk to you all about. And those are these top topics.
So the first one we have is bullying and harassment. That is a big one that kids at this age go through, especially after COVID, because social skills are not their strong point right now because everything's on electronics. So they talk like they're typing now. And these kids can be mean, but usually a bully has their own stuff going on and they have underlying issues. It is taken more seriously here. Ms. Fry will tell you a little bit more about that. But sometimes the bullying can be in person, it can be through social media, it can be physical, it can be all kinds of different types, or even the harassment could be physical or sexual harassment or verbal harassment. So just having those conversations with the kids about boundaries and healthy space and all that stuff, that's usually what I would have to work on a lot with these kids here. And then the social media is a big one nowadays because everybody has so many, and I feel like there's always a new one coming out. Like once you catch a kid and you're like, no, you can't have Snapchat or Instagram, there's always a new app that comes out that we're like, what in the world is this app? So just staying aware of like the apps out there for social media.
And I do want to speak a little bit to the bullying, maybe not a little bit, a lot of it, to the bullying and harassment because that is what we see very, very often. But Mr. Butler and I went to classrooms this week and we went and we had a lesson over bullying and harassment and what it falls under because sometimes kids don't know that they're being bullied. And I know that sounds crazy, but like I told them, I said there's verbal bullying, there's emotional bullying, there is sexual harassment that's not always seen as bullying, but it is. And then we also talk about the cyberbullying that has become so common in middle school because kids do have all the social media things and such. So I was talking to our last groups about, last year was my first year here and I dealt with the bullying and harassment all year long. Kids coming to me telling me kids are picking on them, doing this and that to them. And I felt like our consequences were not as harsh as they could have been when it comes to dealing with a kid that is constantly bullying another kid. So we have revamped that and we have made the consequences stronger. So instead of your first time bullying and harassing somebody being a warning, we made it a little bit more harsh because we were wanting to show not only you parents but the students that we do take it serious and that it matters. And so we're wanting to make sure that they know that.
And it's not even just all about the consequences. There's more to it than that. If somebody's bullying, there's some underlying issues going on with that person themselves. We went into the classrooms this week and talking about bullying. And that's one thing I told the students is sometimes the person who's doing the bullying is the most emotionally disturbed. And they're struggling with some different things. So whenever this comes up, we're able to talk to them, not just you're going to get a consequence, but what's going on in your life that's causing you to have this kind of behavior. And even the person that's getting bullied, how do you handle these kind of situations? Because let's be honest, middle schools are crazy. Have you ever met one? They're a little bit different. And they're struggling, and all their life they've been the kid, the center of the universe. And now they're around 600 kids, and they're realizing that there's other people, there's other things out there, and they're simply trying to learn how to fit in. They want to learn how to belong. And in that, they're trying so many different things because they just don't know. And that's part of what we do is try to help them through some of that kind of stuff. And by the time they get to high school, This is still there, but hopefully we've given them enough tools in their toolbox here in this learning stage of life that they can go through that a little better. And that's what we want to do, is we want to help them. And we talk with them, and we talk with you guys, and we feel like when we come together as a team, parents in the school, we do a better job of that. So we want to be open. We want to let you guys know that, hey, you've got a face that you can look at. You've seen us. We're inviting you to contact us, anything that's going on. That's what we want.
And there are apps that parents can get to help decrease this from happening and make sure your child's where they're supposed to be. There's Life 360, and then another family told us there's a Bark app that you gotta pay for, but you can actually track what comes through the kid's phone, like their videos, who they respond friend requests and stuff to. So words do hurt these kids severely. It may not seem serious to us adults sometimes, but it is serious to them. I was talking to the other group about bruises and cuts, anything like that goes away in a few days, but the words stick with them forever. Emotional abuse is much more severe than physical abuse nowadays, which leads to the self-harm and suicide is from the bullying and the emotional abuse of these kids, or what else is going on at home. Anytime that you see a change in a kid's behavior, either positive, sometimes they're like still having some stuff going on, but they can hide it really well. But that doesn't mean that they don't have stuff going on either if they're handling it well. But they also, any changes in behaviors, like an increase in negative behaviors, disrespect, isolating themselves, grades dropping, refusing to do things, or not avoiding places, those will be red flags that something like this is going on with your child.
I know I'm going back to the bullying and harassment, but again, that's an issue I see all the time. And a lot of times kids say, or they come to me and say, they're like, Ms. Fry, nobody's doing anything about it. And so what I always encourage the kids to do is to always speak up. And I know they don't want to be labeled as a snitch. They don't want the bully to continue, like make it worse on them. So what I talked to them about in the classes this week is that we've created a form that they can fill out online where it's discreet. They don't have to come to the office because, you know, you go in the office, people looking at you, they're like, what they doing up there? And I told them they can access it at any time. They can access it at home so that it is a little bit more discreet, but I do encourage them to always report it no matter if you feel that the situation will be worse or not, because we cannot help if we don't know. And so even with parents, sometimes kids don't feel comfortable coming and telling us anything, but they talk to you all at home. And if a kid is, or your kid is coming home saying, so-and-so is bothering me, and they're constantly talking about the same kid, or even if it's a new kid every day, I encourage you all to give us a call and just kind of let us in on what's going on so that we can make sure that we are being a little bit more aware of the situation, because if we don't know, we cannot do anything about it. So I just encourage you all to encourage your kid to speak up if there is things going on that involve any of this. I know social media is a huge thing. Kids nowadays, they have all the things. They have TikTok, they got Snapchat, they got Instagram. I mean, I heard of stuff I didn't even know about. But like I was telling the kids, I said, you know, when I was in middle school, I didn't have all the things. I didn't have a phone. Like, we didn't have phones. It wasn't that. So I said, if I had an issue with somebody at school, when I left, it stayed at school. Now it follows them. They go home, and people are adding them to group chats. They're posting about them on Snapchat, and it's never ending. So I also encourage you all to be in your kids' phone. Be up in their business, because there is so much stuff that is out there that they are seeing, whether they're in, like, literally the ones doing it or not, their friends are, or somebody they know are. And so I just encourage you all to just be aware of what they're doing. And if you see, like she said, if you see your kid is like not wanting to come to school anymore when they once were, you know, like happy to come, reach out, because I don't ever want a kid to feel like they don't want to be here, or like they're unsafe here at Bluegrass. Like I don't want that for anybody. So if your kid is going through anything, please reach out to us so that we can try to help them out.